were talking. He ended up having to go away back to Florida a few days later. So this was probably about 3 or 4 days later. He ended up going back to Florida. We were talking for a good like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then it was time for my phone bill to be due. I remember, and my phone bill, he forgot to pay my phone bill. So you know, I called him like, Dad, you forgot to pay my phone bill. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna pay it right now, and he paid it. And then I think it was like 2 days after that, my phone wasn't working. I tried to call him the day before, and no answer. No, he told me he was going to call me back. And then the next day when I woke up, my phone wasn't working. And I'm like, he already paid my phone bill. Why isn't my phone working?
Make sure y'all follow, make sure y'all like, make sure y'all comment, make sure y'all subscribe, make sure y'all share, make sure y'all tell y'all mamas, make sure you tell everybody, cousins, baby mamas, kids. I told mine. Tell them come subscribe, tell them come watch, tell them come learn something, you know what I mean? Make sure you follow all the people who are on this platform. Make sure you check out their websites, their Instagrams. Make sure you check out my website, my Instagram. All that should be below, hotheads.com. If you're interested in advertisement, if you're interested in sponsoring, if you're interested in being on the podcast, reach out. You know what I mean? You can reach out by email, you can reach out by Instagram, you can reach out on the website. However way, reach out, let me know. All right, welcome to the Highest Podcast, where we talk to dope people who do dope things. This episode is no different. Who are you? What do we do? You know, that sucked. But listen, look. I'm gonna explain this to y'all before we continue. I'm trying to work on an intro, and I've been going back and forth with myself for the past couple minutes about doing this intro. But that's the intro, and I'm gonna fix it. That's it for now. So, tell the people who you are and what do you do.
Okay. Sorry, everybody. He had me laughing a lot. Hi, if people don't know me, my name is Jaritza. I own Milan's Sweet Tooth, which is a baking business or cake decorating business. Really, just anything sweet to hit your sweet tooth.
That's dope. Before we get into the interview, I'm gonna ask you, how was your week?
It was good.
Last week, because it's like just started.
Last week was fine. Wasn't too busy. I didn't take it too busy with Mother's Day weekend, so I kind of tried to soak that on my kids, but it was good. Okay, dope. So we're gonna get into the journey. We're just gonna jump in because I'm curious, and you know, I'm a question asker, and you know, this our first time in person, right? Yeah. Well, I mean, other than your cake.
Right. Other than that, but we didn't really get to really talk. You know what I mean? So. I always have questions, especially people who start businesses and stuff. I always have questions, and I want to know like how did it start and where did it come from, and the mindset and all that type of stuff. So, what were you like growing up? Were you this person growing up?
I always liked baking.
Yeah.
I always loved sweets. Was I an artistic person? As far as like that side of my business now, no, I never felt artistic.
Gotcha.
In art class, I couldn't paint, I couldn't draw. I just always felt like I just sucked.
Yeah.
But I just still did it, you know. I mean, I just never felt like that was my talent. So I could say growing up, I never really felt like I had a God-given talent. Like I was good at stuff, but not like, wow, you're amazing. Like, you know what I mean? Like something that you're just so good at. I mean, my sister could sing, so when we was growing up, so that was like inspiring. Like, oh, I wonder what my talent is.
Older
like,
or younger?
My older sister.
Okay.
My sister Jennifer. So I really didn't grow up with anything like that. But I don't know. I mean, I just always loved baking, though. I used to always experiment. So I definitely found myself in the kitchen a lot when I was little.
So what were you into?
I really loved animals. I used to always because we used to live like in the hood on Kittatinny Street.
Yeah.
So we used to have like a lot of alley cats and all types of stuff. So when I was younger, like I used to literally go out with like little pieces of cheese and like little tuna and try to like catch little pets and stuff.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, like little baby cats and stuff. And I used to always bring them home, and my mom would be like, "No, we can't keep it. We can't keep it." So for a long time, I thought I was gonna be like a veterinarian, but I couldn't handle when animals died.
Okay.
So that's when I knew that really wasn't for me. But I mean, I was really an outside kid. I liked playing outside, you know, just getting into stuff, doing adventure stuff. But I also had a side of me where I played in the house a lot independently. So I knew how to not really need other people to entertain me. I knew how to entertain myself. So I played a lot with like Bratz dolls and stuff like that. But I was a good kid. I did not get into trouble. I was really good. I'm so surprised now because my daughter is like a handful and I just don't understand. I was so good. And my mom was not strict at all. She wasn't really strict. I was so good though. I had good grades, straight A's. I never got in trouble though.
So why were you like? Why didn't you take the freedom and run?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
No.
I don't know. I mean, I could have abused it, but I just like, okay, for example, like take it back. The first time I had my first kiss, I was really, really young. Somebody peer pressured me into it. Somebody older. So say no to peer pressure.
Right.
But my mom found out about it because the other girl's mom was like a friend of my mom's, and I don't know. I guess she told her mom. My mom slapped the bullshit out of me. I don't need to cuss.
You can cuss.
Oh,
they go in.
But my mom slapped the bullshit out of me. Like I remember that, and it's like I think that was like the first time I ever really like big pissed her off.
Yeah.
So I just never like I ain't making her mad
How
anymore.
old were you?
Probably like 9.
Really?
I was like 9. And my mom was like, "You want me kissing boys?" I ain't kissed a boy till I was like a teenager.
Wow. Do you think that's part of what held you back, or you just...
I mean, consciously, I don't know, but subconsciously, I think it was. Like, I think that played a big role in, like that wasn't my ultimate reason. Like, no, my mom's like the bullshit out of me.
Right.
But it's like, now thinking back on it, like, that was like one of the only times she ever really put her hands on me like that. So, you know, because she barely ever hit me. Like, you know, I have a Spanish mom. She picks up a shoe or something and tries to throw it. She doesn't really try to me up. Yeah. But that day, she tore me down.
That's crazy. That's crazy. So growing up, you thought you would deal with animals. When did you realize, like, nah?
I would have to say, I think I had a guinea pig and I had a cat. Because I wanted too many pets at once, obviously. And I think the guinea pig got out and my cat killed it. And my mom tried to put it back because she thought that if it would act sleep, she would have time for when I went to school to like go get another one. And when I tried to touch it or pet it when it before I went to school, it was harder to rock. I don't know if you ever had a small pet like that die on you, but they get hard for some reason. I don't know why. And I was just distraught, and it just really showed me like I cannot handle this. I can't handle this emotionally. I will cry every time. I won't want to touch it because now I feel grossed out. So I love animals. I feel like that would be a good thing for me to volunteer at. I still, that's really still a big dream of mine to like really volunteer. Like at the animal shelter and stuff, I just need to find the time for what fulfills me. But I knew I couldn't handle the loss part, and that's a big part of it. Right. So
that's crazy. So when did baking come? Like when did that come into the picture?
Like I said, I always baked. I always had a sweet tooth. I always wanted cakes and sweet stuff from the store. So that was just something that I just found it was my own little thing. Like none of my friends really like baking, but they always knew I baked though. So they always tell me like, "Oh, Trisha, you gonna bake something for me? Can we go to your house? You gonna bake some brownies?" So, I used to just always do that. And I don't know, I think I would just do that as a way of showing love to my friends. Like, "Oh, I baked you something." Like I used to do that as a way to like get them to come over. But really, it took course. I would have to say when I had my daughter, we baked a lot together. She loved doing it. We used to just bake little things. I mean, I wasn't artistic, like I said, so a lot of the stuff didn't look that good.
Right.
But she used to have a lot of fun with it. We spent a lot of time together doing it. But when I got pregnant with my daughter Ari, I was really sick. Like, I had hyperemesis. Excuse me. It's basically like super nausea when you're pregnant.
Okay.
I couldn't even drink water. I was hospitalized so much they had to give me fluids and things like that, and I got fired from my job because even though I had, you know, doctor's notes, documentation, the specific job that I had wasn't I had my own independent job where I was working.
Gotcha.
So only me took care of my workload. So if I wasn't there, no one knew how to do my specific job to, you know, take over my workload. It wasn't like a call center thing where it was like everyone was a team.
Right.
So, you know, when I was missing so much work, the work just kept piling up. And they told me, like, you know, we have to replace you. There isn't anyone over to kind of take over what you're doing, so we have to replace you. Probably could have sued him for it, honestly. But I mean, I was so exhausted. I was honestly relieved because they, you know, they told me they would give me unemployment. I didn't really have to worry about working anymore because it was a lot trying to at least maintain documentation. You know what I mean? Giving them calls to let them know what's going on when I don't even know what day of the week it is because I'm so, you know, drained. But after I got fired, this was in November of 2018.
Okay.
This was right before Christmas, and I didn't want Milan to really feel what was going on.
Is your older daughter?
Yeah, my older daughter. She's fine right now. Now, thank God at the time, I was actually living back with my mom because the same month that I found that I was pregnant and I had my own house, she found out that she had a brain aneurysm. So that scared me. I watched a lot of Grey's Anatomy and stuff like that where, you know, things like that can just burst instantly and someone dies.
My sister actually died from that.
Yeah, someone can die instantly, you know, so that scared me. So, you know, she had to get brain surgery, which is also a scary thing. So I decided, you know, maybe it was God telling me, you know, I'm about to have this baby. Because it was actually time for me to renew my lease. And I'm like, you know what, maybe I should just move it with my mom until, you know, we find out her surgery is successful.
Yeah. Because
I just kept thinking, like, worst case scenario, what if I lose my mom?
Right.
And then I'm about to have this baby.
Right.
And then I can't work. And then I'm going to have to worry about all these bills and then taking care of this baby. Like, it was just so much overflowing. And I feel like that's a big thing that I have. Like, I think about the worst case scenario all the time.
Yeah.
So I decided, like, you know what? Maybe everything's happening for a reason. I'm not going to re-sign my lease. I'm just going to put my stuff in storage, stay with my mom for a few months. Because her surgery, I believe, was going to be within 2 months.
Okay.
So I said, I feel like this gives me enough time to, you know, be with her, check on her, and then, you know, I can still get my stuff together before, you know, I have my baby. So that's what I did. I moved in with her, and, you know, when I got fired and things like that, it wasn't really a stressful thing because I was already with her. I was cool. I was like, you know what, I'm fine. So then I felt like it was time to figure something out because I'm not a person to just sit on my hands. So I decided to just bake. I'm like, you know what, Thanksgiving's coming up and Christmas. I'm gonna try to at least bake a few things, you know, at least some snacks. Maybe a few people buy some, you know, for their gatherings. Now I started like posting like little strawberry cupcakes, little things because I was pregnant and just had super cravings, and people were really responding to it. Like, oh my God, it looks really, really good. And Dwayne Mallard, he was my first customer. I remember. He was, I don't know if he still does, but he was coaching like a little league team, and he wanted some for his team. And I made, I believe, 24 for him, 24 cupcakes. That was my first big order. And he loved them. He posted about me. People, you know, were continuously like, oh, I want to try. And then I was just, within literally a week of selling, I probably made with like $700 off of some cupcakes, and that was just surprising for me. You know what I mean? Like, just because coming from a job where, you know what I mean, you gotta wait, 2 weeks for a paycheck and stuff like that. Like, I mean, I used to bartend, so I know what it's like to get easy money, but that was a little bit different for me, like, because I love doing it.
Right.
And I'm like, wow. I'm like,
I
could really make money doing this. Like, I never thought, like, my sister used to tell me sometimes, like, why don't you try to sell stuff? And I used to always think, like, no, people don't really like me personally that much, and people don't know me personally that much. I don't really think they'll support me. I used to always think it had to do with popularity or just, being super known and things like that. So I always was discouraged. But, when I was in survival mode, I was like, somebody gonna buy it.
Right.
Somebody's gonna buy it. I don't care. I'm gonna try. And it really, like, people really responded well. People were, oh, I got mine. And pretty soon, I think within, like I said, I started in November. By Christmas, I definitely, got my daughter some things for Christmas because of how successful everything was. So I was really grateful for that. But on top of that, I was able to save up enough money to move into my own place as soon as January hit, because my mom had her surgery already. It was successful. She was doing good, and it was time to now prepare for my baby to come. And it was hard. Like, I moved out as soon as I could. Like, as soon as I saved up enough money to get a house, I left. I left, like, because I needed my own space, and I was ready to expand for my business and things like that, because it was so successful at that point, like, so constant, that I felt like I could at least make this, at least a side business, something for extra money. It might not be full time to pay my bills and things like that. I might have to go to work, after my daughter, after I give birth, but this is still something. So I should still keep up with it. And at that point, I had done, before I moved out my mom's house, I think I had done like 2 cakes. I did a cake for my sister. It was terrible.
Really?
It tasted good, but I used whipped icing for the first time, and I didn't know that it wasn't that strong, so it melted really fast, like in the car. It was leaning when we got to dinner, but it was okay. She still loved it. And then I did a unicorn cake for a friend of mine's sister. This cake was so ugly.
Oh my goodness.
Everybody showed me so much love, though. It was so ugly.
You got any pictures of it?
It was so...
It probably
It was bad. It was bad. It was that bad. I'm gonna have to, let me see. Let me just see if I type it in unicorn cake, and we'll probably pop up on mine. Oh my God.
It ain't that. All right. I didn't see that clue. Okay. It's not that bad, but I mean.
For one, why is that short?
Right.
Usually my cakes are about like this tall. They're about 3 to 4 layers thick. I made this, I believe, 2 layers thick. I didn't know. And then I had like leveled them super thin because I wanted them super straight. It was like this thick. And then the horn, come on. That looks like, it looked like a male private part. It just did not look good. But everybody showed me love. I mean,
I can understand it. It's not as bad as you're making it seem, but I can based on what you do now, I can understand.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Just based on that's an upgrade.
Right. Super upgrade. Sheesh.
You see what I mean?
Absolutely.
And that was in 2019. That was just a year difference. So it was definitely a big change. But again, people showed me love. They seen that I was just starting. They didn't discourage me. Right. And I think I charged like $40 for that.
Really?
The whole thing. I was just like, listen, I spent almost $40 on everything. Right. But it was okay. I mean, I had to learn.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so when I moved in my house,
That's not your water, is it?
no.
That's my son's water.
But yeah, when I moved in my house, it was actually a little rough because when I moved in, I actually didn't have enough to get my stuff out of storage. So I slept on the floor of my apartment for almost a month, pregnant, just because I was so prideful and just so excited to be in my own space. I didn't want to stay at no one's house anymore. I didn't want to ask anyone for any money. I just wanted to be in my own space, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get there. I just need to pace myself. So I worked a little harder, took a couple more orders, and then I got my stuff out, and then I started getting comfortable. And then I took off about a month before Ari came, just so I could, have some time to really get her together as far as getting her room together, my bag. And then after I had her, it was really, people were so like consistent, just still checking up on me like, hey, when are you taking cake orders? When are you taking cupcake orders? So it just made me feel like, you know what? I'm not even going to attempt to get a job yet. Let me try to do this full throttle. You know what I mean? Like, not pregnant, not sick from, just being pregnant all the time. Let me try, and then hopefully I can get through this. Now, it was hard because it took a lot of patience and, just always advertising, putting everything up on 3 different social medias for my business, and then all of my personal social medias. But I did it. With the baby, I was still, just doing it and just getting my practice in. That's a lot of what I was doing behind closed doors with her. I didn't sleep a lot. So I just practiced, made cakes. I watched videos all night. I felt like I had a problem. But I don't know, it just filed away like later on. So when I wanted to try something, I remember I watched that video. I'm like, let me try this. And it just got better. People were just, super encouraging, and that's when, I officially made it an official business. I think I made an official business before I gave birth to her, though. I believe I did it in January. I can't remember, though. That was a long time ago. But yeah, I got my LLC and things like that, so I could make sure, okay, this is official. And after I had her, it was just constantly flowing, and it was taking care of, what I needed it to, taking care of diapers, bills, things like that. So I just never had to go to work at that point. I just decided I am the job. I'm making the money. And it worked for me. With having a baby, I got to spend more time with her. I didn't have to, leave her or give her away to other people. So it worked for me in my situation. But I mean, that's how I basically started, just through struggle. It was a struggle, but I had to make something happen because I didn't want my first daughter to just feel the loss of just all this stuff going on. And I'm very grateful, though. I wouldn't change anything, because if it wasn't for my second baby, I probably would have never started my business. I was so comfortable working where I was, because I was there for like 4 years.
Where'd you work?
I worked at Clark Resources. I was there for like 3 to 4 years, and I was comfortable. I probably wasn't going to leave no time soon, so I'm glad that I got pregnant. And I mean, I'm not happy that I got sick from it, but if I had a peachy pregnancy, I probably would have stayed at that job. You know what I mean? So it's like everything happens for a reason. So I'm real grateful that it did happen, because I tapped into a side of myself that I never had. Like I said, I was never artistic. So when I started seeing that I was actually good at decorating a little bit, and it was coming easier to me than a lot of other things did, I was just mind blown. Like, I think I found it, guys. I found it.
So how long into it did you realize, like, did you feel like, all right, I mastered this, I got
I still don't feel like I mastered it.
You got it. No, you got it. No, you
I feel like I'm still learning every day. But
how about to a point where it was just like, it's second nature? Like, I just know what I'm doing. Like, I got this.
I would have to say it took me to get a little bit strict with my time management to feel like I got this. Because even though I felt like I could create something beautiful, I would still feel, very stressed out or just drained from it or just tired. And then, sometimes I would feel like I did it. I don't know if I'm going to do it again. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because when I first started, I was only doing one cake a weekend.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because that's all I could churn out. That's all I could do. It took me hours to, just do anything because I was just learning and taking my time, and I didn't know how to, take shortcuts.
Right.
Now, once I started, pushing myself, and I actually did start timing myself with certain things. Like I would start my timer, see how long it took me to frost a cake, seeing how long it took me to decorate the cake, like each step. Because with me dealing with the stress, my anxiety was just up and down, and I needed some type of structure. I needed to know how long that might take me.
Gotcha.
Like, so I could plan.
Right.
Because just going into a cake blind, not knowing when I'm going to be done, if I'm going to be sitting here till 4 a.m, like what I might need, it was just too stressful for me. And that is not what I wanted for my business, because when it comes to all of the other jobs that I've ever worked in my life, I pick my piece.
Right.
So if it stressed me out too much, or if it's something that I didn't like, I always made sure I had something else or had a plan for something else, but I never stayed in one place for too long if I was unhappy, is my point. So I didn't want that to happen in my business. So I, started time managing things, and it got a little bit better. I started churning out more, and that's when I felt like, okay, I feel like I got this now, because now, I'm doing multiple cakes. I'm staying on schedule. They're all coming out equally beautiful, where they're not, one is, obviously had more of my effort than the rest. That's when it started to set in, like, I got this. I was made for this. I got this. I just have to stick with what I need to stick with. Now, I do still struggle a lot with other things, just because as much as I like to do my time management and things like that, coming from when I was sick with my daughter, I don't know if that just in itself created like more of my stomach problems, but I basically started having more stomach problems after I gave birth. Like I would start getting sick. I would lose my appetite. And it was more so coming from stress and how I was moving with my business. Now I was so strict on getting this done, getting that done, getting this done, and then realizing the whole day went by and I didn't eat anything. And my body started to shut down because of that. Wow. So, I would go all day without eating because I had all this stuff to do with my cakes. And then by the time I do want to eat, I just feel like I can't touch it. So I actually dealt a lot with problems with that, where, I started getting into my mode, like, well, I got this, I'm moving like a robot, I'm just churning it out, and then I shut down. And it started causing a little bit of problems. Not crazy, but there are, a few people I've had to cancel on in my baking career of, I'm almost 3 to 4 years in this business now. But I've always apologized for everything that I've always went through, but this is just something that I've never had all the control over. Right. But just being sick like that, not being able to eat because you've ignored your appetite for so long because you're just so busy working. Like anybody who really runs a business can kind of understand what I'm talking about. Absolutely. You know what I mean? Like, but this just happened to me a lot more frequently because when I went to the doctor, they told me that I had a higher metabolism. That's why I've always been skinny. And because of that, I need to keep food in my stomach. I need to eat. I'm a person where they recommend that I eat little meals throughout the day instead of 3 big meals, because those breaks in between those meals, my metabolism is working overtime.
Gotcha.
So, I didn't really understand that about my body. So with me now falling into a business where I'm not sitting on my butt just eating all the time and stuff like that, I've put my body into a different state that it's never been in.
Right.
So I stressed my body out to a point that it's never been to, and it was reacting.
Right.
It was reacting. And it was a lot because I'm a single mom. I'm the only person really, I'm not gonna say really at all, involved with my business other than my baby, Milan. And it's just a lot of weight. So I had to, really just be, super disciplined with my workload and what I could do and what I couldn't do. And also who I could deal with as customers and who I couldn't. It was hard, even still dealing with it, but I've gotten better, thank God. Just because I take care of myself better now.
Right.
I'm not in this business where I was in the first year, the second year, where I was super on grind mode. Like, I felt like I could not let up. So I wasn't, taking care of myself better then. But now I'm taking care of myself better now. So I don't struggle as much as I did, thank God. But yeah, it was hard just dealing with that because people weren't understanding. We're in a people-pleasing business, and people were not understanding. People felt like I should have knew when I was about to get sick.
Right.
Or, I should have knew when I was going to just randomly throw up. And with working with food, I don't know about anybody else, but I don't want no one touching my stuff if you're feeling that kind of way or anything like that. So it was very frustrating because it's like, why don't you understand why I don't want to touch the stuff? But, it is what it is. And it was just all a learning process.
Right.
So that is when I felt, that was like the hardest part about my business, is like just dealing with reality things like, my kids getting sick, me getting sick, or whatever the case may be. And, people not really caring. But you learn to that's why I try to be as transparent as possible. Because I felt like if I always kept it a secret about what I was going through, people would just make up whatever, like, she probably just want to go on vacation.
Right.
Or she just want to do this, or she just want to go out. And I would be transparent. Did that get me a lot of good? No, probably just gave people more to talk about. Right. But it is what it is. I mean, I don't care. So I'm not. But yeah, I'm rambling.
Right. It's all good. So we're here to talk. So hey, so when you from transitioning from the job over to the business, was there anything you had to do internally or mental wise to prepare yourself for that next move? Because it's typically hard to go when you're used to a job. It's hard to take away that stability and then go into something where it's really all you. Did you do anything to prepare yourself mentally, or you just went in and was just it is what it is? Reading, interviews, anything, I don't know, anything that prepared you?
For that side, no. Like I said, for the actual learning side of the craft, I used to watch a lot of stuff, read a lot of stuff, but just how to manage yourself when you're, creating you're being your own boss. I had no idea. And I didn't know that it was going to be so hard, because it is easier for somebody to be in charge, to tell you when to be there, what job to do, and that's that. It's harder when you are responsible for your own schedule. You have to get yourself up to tell yourself to work. There's no one to get you in trouble, really, So it's like you have to have that self-discipline, and it was hard.
What do you think helps you with that mindset, though? To the independent mindset, or just I got to get this done, or was there anything that happened throughout your life that prepared you for those moments, where I don't want to sit in nobody's house, I gotta go do this, or You know what I mean? Like, a lot of what you're saying is based on, like, people being... There's not a lot of people who are, like, self-reliant or even have the mindset to want to do it themselves or understand, like, I can't depend on this, or it usually some type of life experience or transition, something happens to give you that mindset.
I would just have to say I've been let down a lot.
Okay.
I love my dad to death, but he struggled a lot, you know, when he was alive, to just be around. Even to this day, I don't know what he went through personally, because I was a child, so he didn't share a lot of things with me.
Gotcha.
So, you know, I was let down a lot by him just not showing up, or, you know, him just being gone all the time. When he died, it was actually like a letdown in a way, because he had actually, I haven't seen my dad probably in 5 years before he had died. I was 14 at the time, and yeah, I think the last time I seen him was a couple years after I lived with him in Alaska when I was younger.
Wow.
I lived with my dad when I was in Alaska when I was 8, and I came back when I was 9, and I didn't see him for a while. I seen him again when I was 14. He just popped up randomly. I remember I was at my friend's house, and my mom called me and was like, your dad just popped up at my house knocking on my door, you need to come home. And I'm like, what do you mean he popped up? And she was like, he popped up knocking on the door talking about, it's your baby daddy, come open the door. Because my dad used to play like that. Like, he used to just joke too much, like being all, yeah, I'm your baby daddy, like,
yeah.
And he used to be like, grow up. So I came home, and he surprised me. He was just, I was so confused because where were you? What have you been doing? Why are you here? You know, I was happy, but I was kind of like, I didn't want to be happy. And he, you know, just kind of told me how, you know, he was changing his life. He was living in Florida. He was doing really good. You know, he's been struggling, you know, in the past, and that's why he had to kind of separate himself to get a little bit better. And, you know, now that he's doing good and he owns a house, you know, he wants me, you know, come see him, and he wants to be more involved now that he has it together. So I was all for it. You know, I was like, oh my God, my dad, you know, is so happy. You know, he bought a house. Like, I was so happy for his growth. And he looked like he had it together, you know. He took me, you know, shopping. He bought me a whole bunch of sneakers, a whole bunch of clothes. He bought me a cell phone. This is when we had razors back then, flip razors.
Absolutely.
He bought me a little flip razor and was like, you know, I'm gonna pay your phone bill every month so we can talk. And this was like probably the happiest I've ever been in my life. Like, because my mom, I love my mom to death, but my mom, we never, I don't come from a family where my mom spoiled me or had the money to get me stuff all the time.
Right.
You know what I mean? She got what was needed. She got new clothes for the beginning of school, maybe for a holiday, maybe. But then, like, you know what I mean? Like, she wasn't, like, she took care of her stuff first. Like, you know, bills were priority. She wasn't someone who worried about materialistic things. Like, so, you know, I didn't always get new stuff unless my sister, because my sister would be working young, like, she would buy me stuff because she used to work at Sneaker Villa. But, you know, I just was never, like, overly spoiled. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that, you know, we didn't have anything, but, you know, my mom got us what she could. She took care of us and made sure what we had, what we needed. That was for sure. So when he came around and he did that, I was just feeling like, oh my God, is this what it feels like to be daddy's princess? Is this what it feels like? Like, I was so happy because he was just like, anything you want, baby, come on, do this, do that. Like, it was, the whole day was about me. And I was so happy. And then we were talking. He ended up having to go away back to Florida a few days later. So this was probably about 3 or 4 days later. He ended up going back to Florida. We were talking for a good like 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks, and then it was time for my phone bill to be due. I remember, and my phone bill, he forgot to pay my phone bill. So I called him like, Dad, you forgot to pay my phone bill. He said, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna pay it right now, and he paid it. And then I think it was like 2 days after that, my phone wasn't working. I tried to call him the day before, and no answer. No, he told me he was going to call me back. And then the next day when I woke up, my phone wasn't working. And I'm like, he already paid my phone bill. Why isn't my phone working? So, apparently shit works fast when people die, but we'll get into that. But apparently I went to school. It was weird. I was like, why couldn't I talk to him? I tried to call his phone wasn't working either. Went to school that day, and then I came home. Well, I was walking home, and then my cousin pulled up beside me. She saw me walking home, and she was like, I need you to get in the car. I'm gonna take you home. And I was walking with a friend. So I'm like, I'm not about to leave my friend. She was like, get in the car. Like, it was the weirdest thing. She was like, get in the car. And I'm like, I'm gonna see you a little later. All right, I'm about to just get in this car. So while I'm in the car, she tells me, she's like, something happened with your dad. And I'm like, what happened? Because I was trying to talk to him. I was trying to call him, and my phone wasn't working. She was like, he was in an accident. He died. Like, it was like the weirdest. I'm like, huh?
Wow.
What? Like, I was like, it was so weird to hear her words, because I'm like, what? She's like, he died. I tried to get out the moving car, because I was just like, hold on, get me out of here, because this lady's lying to me. Yeah. Next thing I know, we pull up to my house, and my mom didn't even know. They were trying to at least, tell me first. I don't know what their thought process was to try to tell a child before letting her mom know. I don't know.
Right.
But it was hard. My mom broke down severely. Like, that was like the love of her life. And it was really hard for me, because I just felt like, God, why would you get my hopes up high like that? Why would you bring him around to just take him away?
Right.
And it just felt like maybe it would have been easier if he would have stayed away. But I'm still grateful that I got to, be around him the last time that I did. But I think it just like kind of set that tone for, you can't always depend on people. Not even their existence,
right.
Because it's like, they could be taken away.
Right.
Whether, like, even though he disappointed me, I love my dad to death, and I don't want to talk bad about him. I'm not.
So, you want to tap?
I'm alright. But with him being in and out was already disappointing.
Right.
Absolutely. So, for him to finally get his shit together. Yeah. God take him away. It was disappointing. Yeah. So.
Get you a picture.
I'm sorry.
It's all good. No, that's the good stuff. Good man. Listen.
But yeah, that's just how I feel. Like, why would God let him get his stuff together or to take him away? Yeah. This was supposed to be the best part, of our relationship. Right. I thought, and it didn't work out that way. So, I guess that gave me that sense of I can't depend on nobody, because even if they want to be here, they could be taken away. And they could still walk away if they don't want to be here.
Right.
So I don't know. I guess that really plays a big part in why I just.
That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Does that affect you in relationships though?